Hello, I'm Cam McCaul, and today it's time to talk about rear suspension, and ABP. The goal of rear suspension is to absorb bumps and keep the rider in control and the wheels on the ground. However, braking adversely affects suspension performance. This is felt by the rider as a stiffening feeling and a loss of traction. To keep your suspension performing like it's supposed to, and to keep you from skipping around on the trail, we need to separate suspension and braking. That's what Trek's patented active braking pivot does. It keeps your suspension active while braking. First, we have to understand how braking forces affect the suspension on any bike. When a rider applies the rear brake, torque is transferred into the frame where the brake caliper is attached. The force tries to compress the suspension and prevents it from fully rebounding over successive bumps, which reduces the wheel's ability to track the ground and is felt by the rider as a loss of traction. These braking forces also make the suspension feel stiffer to the rider. Think about how often a rider uses the brakes over rough terrain or while descending. Those are the times you want your suspension acting freely and not stiffening up, sending you and your rear wheel skipping around. ABP solves this. By attaching the brake caliper to this floating part of the frame, braking forces are essentially isolated from suspension forces, resisting the brake-induced squat that prevents the shock to move freely while braking. By allowing the suspension to do its job, the rear tire tracks the ground better, which means increased traction, less skidding, and more control where it's needed most. That's the ABP difference, and you'll find it on every Trek full suspension mountain bike.